Today we are going to finish up the Phasmophobia ghosts. Also, remember, if you guys like the video, please like the video. If you got any comments or concerns, please leave that down below. And if you want more content like this, please click that subscribe button. First off, we are going to discuss the Banshee. I'm pretty sure everyone has already heard of a Banshee. You got that image of some sort of floating female creature that screams all the time. But what actually is the Banshee? Now, Banshees come from Irish folklore. They believe that it's a female spirit that heralds the death of a loved one by wailing or shrieking. Now, descriptions of what a Banshee actually looks like may vary. However, it is basically seen as a woman in gray that's mourning. Her eyes are red from crying, and she can be seen as either old or young. Now, a Banshee, the misconception here is a Banshee is not actually there to kill anyone, but is generally a sign that you or someone close to you is going to perish soon. Now, there are stories throughout history of battles being fought where before the battle or during the battle, they have heard a woman shrieking from the woods or in the distance nearby, and this has resulted in battles either being canceled or soldiers panicking and trying to run away and retreat for fear that the Banshee is implying that they are the ones going to die. The next one we're going to discuss is going to be the Poltergeist. Now, Poltergeist is basically a Germanic belief. The word specifically means noisy ghost. Now, a poltergeist is a type of ghost or spirit that haunts an individual, not specifically a location. And this type of ghost is responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises, banging, objects moving or destroyed, can be capable of pinching someone, biting someone, hitting, tripping. It's generally believed to be a malicious spirit. And we won't go too much further into that because I'm pretty sure we have all heard this term before, and it doesn't really stem too far from that belief. The next one we're going to talk about is a wraith. Now, a wraith comes from Scottish folklore. See, a wraith is a ghost of someone who has or is about to die, and it is believed that they were black magic users who attempted to use black magic in order to extend their lives. Now, this person died as a result of using black magic, and I mean, in some ways, you can say that they succeeded. They are technically now a wraith that cannot die, that goes around and hunts other people. Basically, a wraith is a supernatural creature that is generally seen as a evil skeleton-looking creature that is wearing black ripped robes and may or may not be carrying a scythe, similar to the Angel of Death. They can steal souls of people with a single touch, or they can be parasitic and feed off the energy of people. And that's basically it for a wraith. The wraith is primarily an angel of death in a way, the Grim Reaper. Moving on, we have a mare. Now, a mare actually comes from Germanic or Slavic folklore. Quite simply put, it's an entity that rides on people's chests during the night and causes nightmares, hence mare. There are many different versions, all depending on the folklore, but it basically comes down to this. It is generally described as a female entity that will ride on the chests of people and or creatures, causing nightmares during the night as they drain the host's energy or blood, leaving them drained or exhausted. It doesn't necessarily imply that it's a malicious spirit that wants to kill. However, it is something that they do in order to feed, and survive. The next one I want to talk about is a shade. Now, shade is actually quite interesting because it is actually Greek in belief. And the only time shade is really used in this sort of recognizable fashion is during Book 11 of Homer's Odyssey. See, a shade is a simple term used for spirits and ghosts of any dead person that resides in the underworld. They live in the shadows of the underworld, and hence the term shade. Almost everyone becomes a shade in Greek mythology. Everyone goes to the underworld. Whether you are good, bad, evil, doesn't matter. You're neither good, you're neither bad, you're just are. You're a shade. You are a being that resides in the underworld. In their belief, only a very few select individuals ever make it out of the underworld and live in what they call the divine sphere with all the other gods and goddesses. Basically, shade is just a term for everyone in the underworld. Now, a Myling. A Myling is going to be the next one, and a Myling requires a little bit more explanation. Now, a Myling is a Scandinavian term, and it is basically a phantasmal incarnation of the spirits of children with the purpose. Now, this requires the explanation. See, Mylings are very specific in formation. They are basically unwanted children that were killed by their mothers. That sounds awful, doesn't it? Well, it's even worse. See, the history is this. The word utbird means that which is taken outside. See, there was a regular practice around this time of abandoning unwanted children into the woods or other places where death was certain. It is believed that the Myling haunts the area of the death or the killers that killed them. Since it was carried out in secret and shortly after birth, babies were generally denied proper burials, so they can't rest peacefully. Because this was a very common practice at the time, especially those that were too poor to care for their children, the purpose of the Myling is to find someone to give them a proper burial. However, it's not as nice and simple as it sounds. They generally bring their prey in because they're heard singing in the night. And when a person comes by that area, they jump on the backs of the passerby and order them to carry them to a place to be properly buried. And as the person starts going towards the graveyard, the Myling starts to grow more and bigger and more and bigger, which in turn will wear the carrier out and push them further into the ground. See, if a person fails to give the Myling a proper burial, the Myling will kill the carrier in a rage. See, the Myling is believed to be one of the most menacing types of ghosts in Scandinavian folklore. The last one, the final one, the one that also includes the ghost that no one likes to talk about in Phasmophobia, the Revenant. Now, the funny thing about a Revenant is it's technically not really a ghost. See, a Revenant is generally believed to be a restless and vengeful spirit that lived a supposedly wicked life or died in some tragic or gruesome way. So we say spirit in that term. However, the way that this spirit comes back to life is that it reanimates its corpse for the sole purpose of revenge and to finish unfinished business. It's actually very similar to Wierd in a way, just worse. See, the spirit is so dissatisfied that they reanimate their corpse and dig themselves out of the grave. They have immense power at night and go around killing and causing chaos, and then during the day they are forced to go back towards their grave where they appear as just a regular, ordinary corpse, making people that claim to see revenants look like crazy people. It is basically a zombie with a mission. See, the only way they believe to dispose of a revenant is to dig up the corpse during the day, decapitate it, stake the heart, burn the body, and dispose of the head separately. That is basically a revenant. It's not really a spirit per se. To me, it sounds more like a zombie than it would be a ghost. But potato, potato. We have finished going through the folklore of almost every single ghost type in the game Phasmophobia, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, if you liked it, please like the video. If you didn't like it, go ahead and mark that you didn't like it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe out there.